to the Essential Channel. I am Isabel Inclán, and today I will present you my interview with the Mayor of Toronto, Olivia Chow. We talk about her first year in the office last July 12. We talk about the housing crisis and also the tension among pro-Israel, pro-Palestine people in Toronto. And of course, we talk about the growing Latin American community here in Toronto. Join me and let's see what she answers. Olivia Chow is the 66th mayor of Toronto, and she's the first Chinese Canadian on this position and the third female. And just on July 12, she completed 1 year in the office. Olivia Chow, congratulations for your first year as a mayor of Toronto. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I will start. I have many questions for you, but I will start with the first. How will you describe your first year as a mayor of Toronto?
Oh, it's like a whirlwind. It's a lot of listening, and I think we've done well together to make the city a more caring place, a more affordable place. And I've been listening to the needs of folks, and what I really want to do and did a lot this year was focusing on building affordable housing. And we have many units that are being constructed now, and also the rent supplement that help thousands of tenants to be able to secure their homes and through rent banks. So all of that, and part of it made possible through the relationship with the federal and the provincial government. So a lot of it is working together to deliver things that the people really need in the city to make life a bit more affordable and safer.
Okay, I know you are an expert in politics. For many years, you were trustee and then councilor and then MP. So this year as a Toronto mayor, it was what you expected, or it's different being in the mayor chair?
Oh, it's, at the core of whatever level of government and what position, at the core of it is really trying to make life better for the people that you represent. So it's not different per se. The scope is different. I no longer deal with some of the federal issues that I was dealing with, but that actually impact on people like immigration. I was the immigration critic. And when I was a member of parliament, I was also a transportation critic, right? So those are my files in childcare. And all of those three things have impact on the city. So this is where rubber hits the road. When refugees come into the country, when they're claiming their status, they need a place to stay. So a lot of it is actually making the city service available to people that are arriving to Toronto.
Okay, Olivia, what are you doing differently from the previous, if I can say it, conservative wing mayors?
Key difference, I invest in people. I believe in investing. And I also believe in asking people that have a bit more money to pay more. So one of the things I did was we call mention tax to people that are buying houses or selling houses that are $10 million with a squash court inside, or, $5-6 million. They have money, right? They can pay a bit more through the land registry funds that we collect. So that's a different approach. And I don't believe in cutting services because people need it. So I'm keeping the fare low on TDC because people that take TDC don't necessarily have a car. They don't have alternatives. If you keep raising the price, then it makes life hard. So I'm keeping the fare the same and increasing the services.
Okay, let me tell you, to prepare this interview, I asked some members of my audience I told them I will interview Mayor Olivia Chow, and they said, ask her about this, ask her about this. So I combined some of the opinions here. And this is my follow-up question. How are you handling the housing crisis and the growing homeless encampment? And some people criticize that maybe you are pushing them out without providing housing. What do you think about this?
Well, there are several things that we are trying to do. All our shelters are full, and one of the reasons why it's full is that the large number of refugees claimant coming into the country and to Toronto is huge. So in the past, just 1,000, 2,000 refugees are in our shelter. Now it's 6,000, and each night 11,000 people live in our shelters. And half of them, more than half of them, are refugees. It used to be maybe 20, 30% of people that are homeless are refugees. Now it's all these refugees arriving to the doorstep of Toronto. It's not because it's the federal government policy, which is fine, but we need to build housing for them. We need to build shelters for them. And that hasn't happened. So what's happening is that when your shelters are full, what happens? That's why there's camps out in many, many places, because we can't build it fast enough. We don't control immigration, right? And then on top of it, for 3 decades, no government have been building affordable housing. Yeah, lots of condos are built, but they're expensive. The rent is expensive. So that's why we're in the middle of a housing crisis. First time, this government, the municipal government, in the last several decades, are now building affordable housing. We're building 6,000 units of housing with shovel on the ground, right? You know what's the difference? Is in the past, their definition of being affordable is 80% of the market rent. Oh, well, it's $3,000. 80% of $3,000. If you're a working person, if you have a family, you can't afford it. So we've changed the definition of affordable to your income. It's a third of your income. That's really affordable, right? So that's a big difference between my approach and previous government's approach.
Okay, and probably the housing crisis could you agree with me, could be the main challenge in your administration right now?
Oh, absolutely, because 80,000 households are on the waiting list for affordable housing, okay? 80,000. Seniors, a third of them are seniors, and then their families, and then single people that have some challenges, right? So some seniors tell me, asking me to wait for 10, 12, 13 years, my God, we might not be around by the time we get housing. That's desperate, right? Seniors did so much work building the family, supporting our city. They need to retire in dignity. They can't because the housing price is so high. There's one other thing we're doing. It's called municipal acquisition funds. What does that mean? We're out there buying buildings. Do we buy them? No, we give money to nonprofit organizations, church groups and community groups, tenants groups, land trust cooperatives. And when a building are evicting the tenants because they need to renovate, the tenants come together and say, no. We are going to find a way to buy it. Once you buy it, you renovate it, then you, through the city, collectively owns the building. That means you secure your home forever. We have put $100 million in this fund. Where did the money come from? We're asking people that are speculators and buying expensive house to pay a bit more so that we could buy some homes and make it secure for these wonderful tenants that might have lived in that building for a long time.
Okay, Mayor Chow, let's talk about the tension among pro-Israel and pro-Palestine people here in Toronto. Some people criticize that you in October suggests that pro-Palestine protests should be police. So how are you handle this problem?
Well, in the city of Toronto, what we believe in is that we live in harmony, no matter where we come from, what kind of religion and what kind of background that we are. And we need to make sure people hear each other and understand each other's points of view. And that no hate, right? Because hate does not belong to the city. We can talk about different things, protest. It's our freedom to protest, the freedom to express, freedom to gather, as long as it is not hateful, right?
Mhm.
So when there is a fire or broken windows or shooting at a school because they're Jewish, that's hateful. So I am very clear in condemning it. And when people want to be outside gathering, talking about the intensity of the feelings, because it's intense. There's huge emotions involved. I understand that, I hear it, I feel it, I do get it. And when people gather to express that, yes, absolutely. But if they want to climb a Jewish hospital, no, you can't do that, right? It's important to make a difference between what the government is doing and what Canadians are feeling. Jewish government and Israeli government, if you agree or not agree with them, that's different. That doesn't mean a Jewish Torontonians should suffer any hate. Two different things.
Okay, Mayor, and what do you think about some people said or criticized the police overreaction in the pro-Palestinian encampments? They said they criticized the strong presence and action from the police. What do you think about this?
You're talking about the encampment at your University of Toronto?
Yes.
I don't think the police did anything.
And other demonstration.
Hey, listen, I'm a local mayor. I don't dictate. U of T, that's university, that's private land. I don't dictate it. Police, I don't tell the police what to do. When you get politicians telling police what to do, you have a dictator state. You don't want that.
Okay. I
police
understand.
do what the police does, and as policy, as a policy, because that's civilian control. That's the cornerstone of democracy. Yes, the police service board establishing policy, hiring the chief, that belongs to civilians, us, okay? But not telling the police what to do. We establish policy, yes.
Okay, let's talk about different things. Let's talk about the immigrants. You are an immigrant, and what do you think about the strength of immigrants here in this multicultural city, Toronto? And what is your policy to reinforce Toronto as a sanctuary city?
Don't ask, don't tell. We as the city of Toronto, whether you are status, no status, precarious status, doesn't matter. You live in the city of Toronto. Property tax, through your rents, we provide service for you.
Okay, so are you sure Toronto continue being a sanctuary city in Canada,
Absolutely.
right?
Yep, we've been that for a while. No changes there.
Okay, and inside City Hall, there is a group called Latin American Staff Network. I don't know if you are aware about this, and this group is led by Michael Reyes. Michael Reyes, he's a Latin American Canadian worker in City Hall, and he creates the Latin American Staff Network. And
yes.
In this group, he's pushing for a community of inclusion. What do you think about this and about the Latin American community? I know you were in the Pan Am reception last Friday. And what do you think about the Latin American workers in City Hall, how can you support them, and about the Latin American community?
It's an excellent question. We have staff network that are great, LGBTQ, Middle East, lots of staff network. I encourage it because it fosters a sense of belonging, and it have special needs that we could do better as employer. Absolutely. If they have a lunch, if they have a meeting, if they have a gathering, invite me, I'll come. I've been to quite a few staff networks from different parts of the city. Go for
Okay,
it.
so they can count on your support.
Oh, absolutely. We love staff networks. That is something that's important. And yeah, this coming weekend is the Latin America, the Pan American food, music, right here in Nathan Phillips Square. I'm looking out at it. It's going to transform. It's starting on Friday night. There is Colombia chefs, and there's a lot of activities and dance and food, DJ Latin music on Saturday night and Sunday. So our square is going to be transformed by the passion and the music and the culture and the food of Latin American communities.
Okay,
We're proud of that.
Right, and when we talk about the Latin American power, I should mention Gil Peñalosa, the Colombian-Canadian guy, professional in parks, in urban projects, and he ran as a mayor previous the election than you, and then he resigned as a candidate and support you. What do you think about him? I don't know if he is helping you doing something projects.
Yeah, he is so smart and so experienced. I learned so much from his 8 to 80. So if you design a city for children 8 years old and a senior 80 years old, when you design a city that way, then you are never going to fail. Then you have the best city ever. I love that concept. In fact, I know Gil for a very long time when he started the 8 to 80 concept, and then his concept about green loop. That's what we want to do, and I'm acting on it because we want that as a FIFA legacy to connect all the trails. That is, so from Finch down at the Don River, come to the lake, and then go up on the Humber River as a loop that will be largest green loop in the world. That's
So
about 70. So there's lots of things that he is recommending. Is fabulous.
So you are trying to adapt in some of the projects that he suggests?
Absolutely.
And just I would like to ask you about the increasing of the crimes in this loved city of Toronto. I live here in this city for 25 years. So what I see now around is not what I saw 20 years ago. The crimes, and you put the news and shooting and something, and they release some statistics. And my question is how to tackle the 68% increase in shootings in Toronto. What are you doing?
A lot of them are young people, 14-year-old. So what's happened during the pandemic is you have 3 years. These are children that never got a chance to socialize, learn those social skills, have a sense of belonging. That's the time when you are 9-year-old, for example, or 10, 11. That's the time when you feel like you belong to a club or friends. They didn't have any of it, right? So now that they are, 13, 14, they're being recruited by some bad people. There's some of them are recruited by some people to join gangs. And one of ways to show you're really with it is get a gun, all these terrible things, right? So there are many ways. We need to create more recreation programs, more ways for mentorship, role models, so young people feel they belong to good things, dance groups, basketball, soccer, cricket, whatever, right? And second, find good employment, because after they graduate or they don't, they need to find jobs. They need to find a way out of the cycle of poverty. Some of them are stuck in, right? And not building housing is a big problem. And when you're stuck in housing that are falling apart, you don't feel good about yourself. And these rich guys coming in with gold and all that say, oh, you can get out of that by stealing some cars and, get rich quick. It's attractive, right? So we need to counter that. So the best allies are young people. So we need the young people to work with us. How to set up youth programs, how do employment programs, how do you make a stronger neighborhood? And that's the way to tackle crime, the root cause of crime.
Okay. At the end of your term as a mayor, how would you like to leave Toronto?
A place that is more caring, as I talk about, that people feel they belong, that this is their city, that they're excited, they participate as volunteers in their neighborhoods, in their community, in their churches. Because what the pandemic did was people no longer feel they belong anywhere, right? So have these activities, street festivals, stronger neighborhoods, stronger communities, making life affordable. What does that mean? More housing, right? No TDC fare increase. Make TDC available, right? Because then you don't have to buy a car, you don't have to pay car insurance. Making life affordable means better public transit, more reliable transit. But then some people, we're scared going into TDC because of crime. A safer city, less crime, right? Young people have a purpose in life, so they don't have to resort to criminal activities. So those things are very, very important. And that would be a term that I said, okay, if we could measure that, because right now it's not going in the right direction, right? We are moving it. Now it's only been a year. We're moving it, making it back on track, going into the right direction. And we're heading that way, but it takes time. It's a bit of a journey. And I can't do it alone. I need all of your listeners and your viewers, church, and all the communities coming in to say, hey, Mayor, I have some ideas. I said, good ideas. What can you do to help me to make the idea a reality? That's my challenge. And I hope that at the end of the term, many more people are contributing into the city and say, I belong to the city and I need to do something to help the city out. And that will give me great satisfaction.
Okay, Mayor Olivia Chow, my last question is regarding the women in politics. I create a documentary about the Latin American women in Canadian politics. One of my characters is your Councilor Alejandra Bravo. So I want to wrap up this interview asking you, because as I mentioned at the beginning, you are just the third female being mayor in Toronto, and the first after amalgamation, right? So what could be your message to women about participating in politics as a candidate, as a volunteers, as a voters? What do you think about this gender representation in politics?
Representation matters. Equal voice matters. If women are there as 50% plus, then they need to be reflected in the government, right? And Latin American community are growing more. Councilor Bravo is an amazing councilor. She heads up our economic development committee. What does that mean? Wow, all of the community services, parks and recreation, and housing, encampments, all those things that you and I were talking about is through her committee. That's really important, right? Because that's where people find hope. And having a good counselor, having a good representative matters. So I encourage women, Latin American women, see yourself in government, whether it's working in government elected people in government, running for office, all of that, any levels of government. Doesn't have to be municipal, right? It's a good way to go. Once you have an idea of what you want to accomplish, and you have people supporting you, you have a lot of friends that say, yeah, it's a good idea, or you've done some of those ideas, making those ideas a reality, then you said, now I can take that plan and make it happen across the city, for example, then run for office.
Okay, Mayor Olivia Chow, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being in this channel, the essential channel.
Okay, we'll see you on the street this weekend, maybe, huh? And maybe
Yeah,
Square down here.
for sure. Okay, thank you so much,
Thank you.
Olivia. Good luck.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.